Hello there, it's Julie Hutchison here from Think, Be, Do Leadership, the home of the Quiet Leaders Launchpad. And today I've discovered that people know me a little bit too well. And I think maybe it's the same for everybody, or at least I'm hoping it's the same for everybody. So Annie, it's your fault today that we're talking about this. If you're listening, I'm not sure that she will be. But what I'm talking about is how we aren't always aware of the way we show up, or the things that we do, or the things that we say on a regular basis, or just the way we are. We are oblivious sometimes to how we are showing up to the world. And I don't know if you've ever heard about the Johari window, which is basically, a little thing that says, you're either aware or you're not aware of some of the stuff that's coming out that people see of you, and other people are either aware. And there's one box that says it's your hidden area where you know something about yourself, but you don't want anybody else to know. And then there's the one where you know about it and you're happy for everybody to know. And then there's the one where you have no idea, but everybody else can see it. They can see straight through you. Excuse me. They can see straight through you, and they know something about you that maybe you're not completely aware of yourself. Which is quite funny, because Annie today, who's one of my clients, who sent an email out. She was writing about a program that we're going to be running called the Competent Conservation Champions, and which is all about speaking up and being heard. But the one thing she made me laugh is that she said in there, she said, "Oh, no, this is a Julieism." And she then said that I was talking about getting off a rusty nail, which technically is not actually my quote, but I use it a lot, apparently. Which is get off the rusty nail, rather than just sitting there moaning about being on a rusty nail. Anyway, that's a bit by the by. But what I'm trying to say is that actually, if we don't know stuff about ourselves and we're not aware of how we show up, then it's kind of a bit hit and miss as to how useful we are, how helpful we are, how impactful we are, and whether that be positive or negative, isn't it, if we don't know it about ourselves. And so it made me laugh when she said it's a Julieism, because I didn't really know that was something I said all the time. Maybe I don't say it all the time, but maybe it just impacted on her. But then I looked at, well, what else do I always say? And now I know that I'm always talking about food, in the analogies and the way in which I explain around leadership often revolves around food or daily things that we talk about. So that's one of my Julieisms, is to try and create real life situations out of things that are perhaps a little bit more in the clouds, let's say. So I know I do that. But what I want to know is, what do you do? Because do people know you well? Do people see in you what you don't notice of yourself? So let's start with something you do notice of yourself. So what do you think are the things that you kind of say on a regular basis, or the way in which you approach things that people would notice about you? So this might be your team, your boss, your family, your husband, wife, whatever it might be. Think about those things that you're aware of, or that you do on a regular basis. Okay, and ask yourself the question: are they useful? Which is a bit challenging for a Friday afternoon, really, I suppose. In that, are they useful? Especially if you feel like you've been dragged for a hedge backwards this last week with the kids at home and all those sorts of things. A little bit like me. But I want to know, are they useful for you if you're aware of them? And then I want you to think about, what about the ones that you're not aware of? What about the ones that you do, or you say, or you behave like, or your reactions that you aren't aware of? And you may say to me, Julie, I know it's Friday afternoon, but I have no idea what I'm not aware of, because I'm not aware of it. However, what I want you to do is perhaps just take a moment with a cup of tea, or whatever your beverage of choice is, nice gin and tonic on a Friday afternoon, let's say. Take a moment and ask yourself the question: are there things that I do or say that perhaps I could be aware of if I actually just sat down and thought about them? And if you say, no, I don't know, there's nothing that I think of, ask other people. Okay, if you have somebody else, if you're still in the office, then wow. But if not, the next time you actually speak to a person who has anything to do with you, I want you to ask them, like, what am I don't know your name, but let's say your name is Bob. then what's your Bob-isms? In the same way that I said that Annie told me I had Julie-isms. What are your Bob-isms? The things you do or say all the time, okay? Because if you are not aware of them in that old Johari window, which you can Google if you want to, it's quite useful. But in Johari window, if they say you're not aware of them and other people are aware of them, then they could be something that you are actually doing really well, or it could be something that actually is having a negative impact on the situations, on the way in which you deal with people and all those things. So you need to know about these things, because if you don't, you can't change them and you're not in control of them. And this is something that we do on the Leaders Launchpad a lot, is looking at, I call it looking as if you're watching yourself on TV. Okay, you're looking from outside of yourself in and asking yourself the question, what's the impact I'm having? Okay, now that's really, really important for you to get used to doing, because if you're the sort of person, or if you've got people in your team who are this sort of person, where they may say, I am the way I am, this is quite a good one, I am the way I am, you just have to put up with it because I can't change myself. Or you can see that they're completely unaware of the way in which they're showing up, then you may need to take responsibility for actually challenging that and helping people to see and to taking it out of that space of unknown to that person or to yourself, and putting it into what would they call the open area. Okay, and then when it's in the open area, if it's good, you can talk about it, you can do more of it, you can continue and do more of that. Or if it's not in this, it's not in the positive area, then at least you know that's something that you've got to work on. But if you don't, you won't. So moving things from, if they're hidden by, as in known by you, but not by others, because you're hiding something about yourself. And I don't mean, well, let's hope not because you want to steal someone's handbag or something like that, not that kind of hidden. What I mean is just things about yourself that you just hide and you don't want to show others for whichever reason. If they're hidden and you know about them and other people don't, then what you need to do is really need to sort of ask yourself the question, do I need to deal with those things and remove them, or why are they hidden? And do I need to bring them out in the open, or do I need to change or adjust them? And if they are unknown to you, you need to get some trusted person, obviously not somebody who's going to stab you in the back for it, but somebody who's going to give you some honest feedback. And that's what we do on our program, is we're into safe but honest feedback. And make sure that you actually start to address some of these things, because the way in which you show up needs to be conscious, needs to be not designed as in like you're not you, but you need to be aware of what it is that you're actually putting out there. You know, so either you look back upon what you did and then think, I'll do different next time, or I suppose you start to think, okay, well, you know, I'm going to actually behave differently in this situation because I choose to behave differently in this situation. So going from this, where Annie, you said about my Julie-isms, getting to know your Bob-isms or Lisa-isms or whatever your name is, put your name in if you like, I would know. Getting to know that about yourself is really, really important, and working on those things is really, really important, because you can't do what you don't know about. So if that makes sense to you and you think, well, that's a good idea, maybe I should, then two things. Find out about the Leaders Launchpad, because that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be doing on there. We're looking at improving people's impact and influence, first of all, by understanding where we are. Secondly, designing what we want differently. And thirdly, giving you the skills and tools and techniques to actually change that. So that's the Leaders Launchpad, and we start in February, the next cohort. But before that, we have a free 5-day challenge. If you haven't heard about it yet, I'd be surprised, because we're talking about it all the time. But next week on Monday, for 5 days, half an hour a day, you can work on you as a leader, you and your impact and influence. And we're going to be looking at some of this stuff on there. It's totally free. You just need to register. The link is in the comments down there. Register for it. Join us. You'll get a worksheet every day, a short piece of training to watch every day, no more than 25 minutes, something like that. And then I'm live at 10 o'clock in the morning and at 5 o'clock in the evening. And there's even going to be prizes for people who actually do the work. So you'll come out of that challenge far more conscious of some of these Julieisms or Bobisms that you are not aware of, or even some of them you are aware of, and you'll be designing how you want them to be in the future. So join us. It will be good fun. I will see you then. It's Julie from Think, Be, Do Leadership. Join the Kickstart challenge called Unleash Your Brilliance. Kickstart. See you there. Bye-bye.